I think I was born to be a weaver, to be perfectly honest.
And I came, I think, to the best place to learn to weave because everyone has been so helpful and full of good advice.
The group was I believe, set up in about 1972 to try and inspire all the local community to try and learn to weave, spin and dye. And this is because we're from the actual Worstead area, which is fabric from the Worstead fabric. And they managed to get a lovely grant to go into different schools to teach everything on spinning, weaving and dyeing.
The Worstead Festival gave us some money to look for a home, which that was useful. And our then chairman found this place, and we were able to develop it with the money we'd got from the Worstead Festival. And then they applied successfully for a heritage grant, and we got 45,000. And that was used to advertise ourselves and get ourselves known. And that was a very busy time for the Guild.
For me, it's location and the actual workshop. There's only 3 workshops, I believe, in the whole country. So we're very, very lucky. So this is spun and knitted, and then I do some weaving normally on the floor looms. I started very luckily from a lovely gentleman called Stan Appleton, again one of the founder members, a fantastic weaver, and he started me off on the floor looms. So I've never progressed through, you know, the rigid headalls onto the louets and then up to the floor looms. I went straight in. And then Jenny has taught me over the last 2-3 years how to warp up the floor looms, and we're just starting to really understand it, but it takes a lot. But I love it, absolutely love it.
I joined as a dyer. I love dyeing wool felt and wool and material. I love colour work. I enjoy experimenting with colour, and I wanted to know how to make wool and fabric into the colours that I chose. I wanted to have complete control over the colour making.
I spin, weave and dye. I do the 3 crafts. I had a spinning wheel for Christmas in 1980. I went to the lady who sold my husband the wheel for a spinning lesson, and I really enjoyed it. So then she suggested I join the Guild, which I did. And then 1983, some of the older weavers told the spinners if they'd like to learn to weave, they'd teach them. So I learned to weave then, and it's grown from there.
Well, I joined this guild in about April time. It was just as we were coming out of lockdown, and I was looking to use the dyeing that I had done into something productive. I knit with the wool that I dye, but I wanted to weave, and I wanted to use the colours and the fabrics I had created into a woven project. To expand my knowledge on colour mixing, basically, and also to find out how to weave. And I came, I think, to the best place to learn to weave because everyone has been so helpful and full of good advice.
I started spinning about 5-6 years ago. That was in Peterborough, and then when I retired 2018, I knew this place existed, so I came here and started from there.
Well, I've only made 1 weaving so far, and that's going to be a wall hanging. I'm hoping to put wall hangings around our house, and when we start holiday lets, I'm hoping that each holiday let will have its own individual colour scheme, and that the weavings will be individual artwork in the holiday lets.
In the first instance, it was for myself and for family and for friends. And then I put more warps on. I'd warp up for more than 1 scarf at a time, and I'd sell some of the events we went to, and then I could add more money to buy more equipment or more yarn.
I'm very excited about the work. Previously I have used my colours and dyeing in knitted products and hat making, but I'm very excited of how you can use colour in weaving. It's not just dyeing to create colour, but using different strands of various threads that you can combine to create colour. And I can't believe how much more about colour I have learnt since being here.
My favourite Right, these are 2 scarves I wove. They're made of silk. I buy this commercial silk and then dye it. Dyed with acid reactive dyes. And these were woven on a 8-shaft loom, but I just used 6 shafts to be able to produce this particular pattern. It took me about a week to warp the loom up, and I wove the pair of them in a weekend because I was exhibiting at a show, and I wove them there.
It's a hat I've made that I dyed myself. That is one I'm most proud of, but also the weaving that I've just done. I cannot believe how I've produced a hanging with lots of different techniques, thanks to the lovely people here who have helped me with some of my own hand-dyed yarns. I've always wanted to make wall hangings, so thanks very much to all the ladies here that have helped me learn to weave. I can now do that. I can use my practice weave to help me go on and plan what I want to do and make a bigger wall hanging.
Now I've made most things that I've wanted to make. It's been a long time. It's been over 40 years, so I've made most of the things that but I still have ideas of what to do.
It's not just therapeutic, but it gets you thinking. You really have to think about the weaving. You have to think about the colours that you want to use in the warp thread. For instance, I used a plain warp thread in my practice weave, but I've just hand dyed my first warp thread ready to use in a larger wall hanging, and I'm very excited about using it and seeing how the different colours in the warp thread, that's the threads that go up and down, will affect the colours in the weft which goes across. So to me that is very exciting, and it gets your brain working to work out what's going to happen.
I think I was born to be a weaver, to be perfectly honest. It's where I feel most at home when I'm at my loom, weaving away by myself with the dog by my side.
And we've got fantastic facilities, and as I say, because of all the members, and I think we can attract even more from the other guilds. Hopefully we'll be able to get us all together to just enjoy our crafts, really. So each year we try to run what's called the Woolly Weekend to inspire people to weave, spin and dye. One of our objectives is trying to get other guilds to try and join us, and also just to try and get any public to come and learn the skills and be inspired by our fantastic members that we have.
We're still developing, we're still growing, and it's a nice place to come.